I'm joking. Anyway, so episode 2, the police look for answers, and at Jamie's school, they can't get any leads from his friends until Di Bascombe sends the offer to help. So Di Bascombe is Ashley Walters' character, by the way, aka Asher D. All right. So again, we're gonna just go through the photos and that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Shout out to those who participate in helping the community of the Internet Movie Database. This is great to do. All right. Um, so yeah, I feel like this was the head teacher. I'm not sure. Look like that. And then that was the girl's friend. Um, that was unfortunately in that situation. So obviously she's rightfully upset, um, rightfully in tears. Um, yeah, man, sad to see, man. And then obviously I don't even remember this scene. I don't remember this scene, but obviously that's the boy's father, isn't it? All right. This scene, this is why this is. They need to do this. They don't need to do it in order, but this helps speed up the process because then I can go to episode 3, then episode 4. Then yeah, me. But make sure you say subscribe, by the way. Um, but yeah, so I'm just thinking. All right, so with this particular part, I remember he jumped out the window. And do you know what's funny? Like, I knew that scene was gonna happen, yeah, but I didn't know when it was gonna happen because I saw it on Twitter. Basically, like people were talking about it on Twitter. I'll be real with you. I just been delayed in watching it. All right, allow me. You know what I mean? There's other things I do in my life. All right. So, but all jokes aside, though, yeah, like, um, it's when he jumped out the window. I'm like, how was he able to jump out the window? Because I remember in school, in the school I went to, you couldn't easily jump out the window like that. You may be able to slightly jump over the fence to do you know what I mean, to bunk school now and again. You know what I'm saying? I don't recommend it, by the way, because it's boring. It literally is. What are you gonna do? Jump, like, roll around Whitgift Center and that. If you know, you know. Anyway, but aside from that though, yeah. Um this scene. Okay, yeah. This scene here, when he jumped out the window, it's because obviously he knew he was, because even before that, Ashley Walter's character, D.I. Bascom, like he was questioning the boy. He was questioning him before. And I just find it weird, like strange how, because even before then, they had the boy, like Jamie's friends, talking about the situation, and do you know what I mean? Then it panned to who I assumed was going to be Ashley Walters, the person who played Di Bascom's son. And I assumed it was going to be him because it almost felt like it was him, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It was, when you could just tell something because the way they panned it, and he overheard, so I thought maybe he was going to tell in that situation. But either way, cool. But what led to that? This I'm saying. What led to this particular scene here was very interesting because you had, before this, we had a father and son moment where the father was being told what the motive was by the son. Do you understand? And that was the most that the father had the son had spoken to his dad in a long while. And again, the lesson in that particular situation is talk to your children. Do you understand? Get them to talk to you. And it's interesting. You think because they're teens, they don't want to talk. No, some of them do actually want to talk. Yeah. It's just how you get them to communicate. It's how you get them to speak and react. And you know what I mean? Like, you gotta find, like, it may be a little frustrating, but you have to find a way to understand them. Do you understand, like, what's going on? And even and especially if they're your seed, you should know. Wait, they're half of me, bruv. You know what I mean? Let me try and figure this out. How was I at that age? What was I thinking? What was I like? Obviously, this is the thing, because you got to remember, we were all teenagers once. So, you know what I mean? And obviously, it's not easy to put yourself in the teenager mainframe once you're an adult. It's not easy. But and nor have I tried to make myself feel like a teen. No, 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 never. But I feel like what we need to do is just figure out to get on their level to understand them, so you can get them to, you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just my fault. But yeah. So anyway, that's the lesson there. Just learn how to communicate with your children, basically, each stage that they grow and develop. This situation, it led to this situation, right? Now, in this particular situation, he more or less confessed. And I like the fact that Ashley Waters was running and he was kind of like his out of pace. Brother, we know you can run, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know you, we know, bruv. We know you're so solid, bruv. You know what I'm saying? You know, like that. You know. Anyway. Let's keep moving on. So yeah, and his partner found out as well, like overheard. So which was good, because it's so easy to hear these conversations one on one, and then he could easily be like, "I never said that. You got no evidence of that." You know what I mean? He could like, he's that type of kid that will try to manipulate you into thinking something something didn't happen, but it did happen. You know what I'm saying? He is that type of kid. Well, he's character anyway. You know what I mean? And by the way, that girl, friend, the girl that ended up in that situation, her friend, the one that I showed, she basically beat the kid up, basically, which I found very hilarious, by the way, because it served him right. This neither here or there, but in fact, no, she mentioned she didn't like school, going to school, or whatever. Oh, so that was it. That was a very interesting take, because who does? He does, or who did? This pit, can't remember what that was about. Oh, someone set up the fire alarm, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those friends. I'm pretty sure, and this was before. Yeah, I mean, this was these pictures are not in order, by the way, but yeah, trying to set off the alarm basically. And this again, this was, I felt, was this after? I can't remember. This scene I found very. I never understood it. Like, why was she being singled out as if she was the one that did wrong? Because you have to understand what she's been through and what she's going through. That's what I'm thinking. But hey, it is what it is. Let's keep moving. And then look, he's stuck, like that's the Di Bascombe's son. And I like the fact that this was the moment when he's like trying to let him know, let's speak one on one, let's speak privately. Do you know what I mean? And I like how it was privately. I like how it's privately and not with his um police partner. I mean, it would have helped, but yeah. And then I think this is when he was telling him, like, it's like he was speaking in code, but he wasn't speaking in code. It's like you have to really understand. It's like, and the purple emoji means this and this. Is that. I was like, yo, chill. Like, even the father was like, no, just tell me, be clear. Like, what are you talking about? And that's how it may feel sometimes. If like with these days, like, I don't know. Anyway, keep moving. Then Ashley Waters in the class, well, the DI Bascom in the class or whatever. And then yeah, this teacher, the way he explained about how the kids are, I found that interesting as well. Do you know what I mean? You could tell he doesn't have it easy with those kids. He doesn't have it easy. Put it that way. He does not have it easy. Yeah, he does not have it easy. And obviously, this was before as well. All right, so before his dad came into the school, um, and I don't think he knew his dad was coming, but it's almost like everyone knew that he's a kid of the police, um, and so he gets bullied, which I find really ironic. You're bullying a kid. You're bullying a kid where the father's a police officer. Let's make it make sense for a moment. You are not in your right mind. Obviously, the kid, don't get it twisted, but you're not in your right mind if you're bullying a kid whose father is a police officer. All right, one could say, yeah, but what they're gonna do is just bullying, right? Do you know what I mean? But on the other hand, it's like, no, my dad is a police officer, and he could watch you and get his colleagues to watch you and make sure that when you are out of school permanently, because obviously when you get to college, what uni, whatever, gonna make sure that you know what I mean? You may be taken off the streets, bruv. So bully me all you want, bruv. You know, well, I'm joking. Listen, don't bully me all you want, but I get it. Like, I don't know. That has is this true though? If you're a kid of a police, let me know how it's been as a child growing up. Let me know. I'm actually genuinely interested and intrigued to know the life of a child or well, if you are a child of the police. You know what I mean? And it's funny because some of them do end up growing up to be police officers themselves, which I find very interesting. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep moving. Okay, so these were the two friends, right? And this is when they were talking about, do you know what I mean, the situation, and then they mentioned about the situation, you know what I mean, and the situation now it was, and yeah, and I just found it very interesting how easily you're hearing conversations about a particular thing that's happened, a fatal incident that's happened, and you know what I mean? Like it's the way they've spoken about it, like it's almost as if they're in their own world. Because you know what they the I don't want to say the rules of the streets are you don't speak until you're in a particular situation, and you know what I mean? Because obviously they're in a public setting, and the thing is, you don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening, you don't know, and that's why I thought to myself when it led to them being in lunch or the cafeteria, you call it the cafeteria, it led me to think maybe the police son is overhearing that conversation. Like I said, this is a spoiler alert, all right? So anyway, and then there goes Asher D. Oh, I keep calling him Asher D. I gotta remember this is his character. D.I. Bascombe is the character in this situation. So shout out to Asher D. Shout out to me. Let's go to episode 3. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode 1 and 2 as well. Like I'm just breezing through each one, all right, and then we'll get into another TV series, and then yeah. All right.